I'm back. My name is Scouts, or the Fairy Librarian, and welcome back to a new vlog. The first one in a hot minute. Um, I got a haircut since last time, as you might be able to see. Um, it's a vlog. It is Thursday now, and I am in the middle of way too many books. But I have three that I'm currently focusing on, so I'll talk about those. So first, it's way over there. Jade City by Fonda. I'm almost finished this book. We have about 50 pages left. So, if it doesn't happen today, then I'll probably finish tomorrow. I'm really enjoying this. It's just like the twists and turns and the politicking going on, and I don't know, I'm loving it. I'm buddy reading this with people, but I'm kind of struggling with the buddy read aspect because I don't have much thoughts about it. It's just all vibes. I'm loving it, but I don't have much to say about it. But it's good. I like it. It's yeah. I love it. I'm reading it fairly quickly as well. So that's great. This is one of those books where I just genuinely don't know what's gonna happen next. The twists and turns in the plot are incredible, and I really love them, and I really like some of the characters. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this. I'll probably finish it very soon. I'm also reading Pillars of the Earth by Ken Follett. A notorious chunker. I am this far, which is like 2/3, something like that. And I'm also loving this one. It's really good. I never could have thought that a book about people building a cathedral would be so like high stakes and intense and gripping, and so page turnery. It is because there's a lot of politics um, around it, and it's really good. I'm loving it. Um, there is one perspective, because it's a multi-POV story about people pulling a cathedral. And there is one who is sort of the antagonist villain character who tries to boycott them. And he's just the most despicable human being ever. And every time we're in his perspective, I just want to go take a shower. This book gets really dark. So be aware of that if you go into it. But I really enjoy it, and I highly recommend. So far, at least, it's great. And the third one, I'm also loving. It's all hits at this point. Is The Power of Women by Denis Mukwege. I am 100 pages into it. And it's really good. It is a nonfiction about the war in Congo and how violence on women is used as a weapon in said war. And it is sort of part memoir, part just general information, nonfiction, because the author is a Congolese doctor who runs a hospital specializing in those cases. And usually I'm not a huge fan of like the half memoir, half general nonfiction stuff. But in here, it's really well done. And Mukwege is just a really good storyteller. And The writing style is great. And I really love it, and it's so interesting. I've been tabbing that. Where is this tab? Let me tab this. It's just going crooked. This one is also crooked. I've been tabbing this, as you can see. So I'll quickly go over my tabs. I have a purple tab, which is for just general African history that I like knew of and knew a little bit about, but like I didn't know any detail in any level. I just knew that it was a thing. For example, like the first one was the assassination of Lumumba. So like I know that it happened, but I don't know the context. I don't know the reason. I don't know. Like I knew Lumumba was some political figure, but that was kind of it. I didn't know more than that. So I learned more through that, and they were very short, just to give some context with the rest of the book, because that's not what they're focusing on, obviously, but just I learned a bit more. So that's purple. Then I have orange. And what was orange? That is just general observations about like feminism that I found really interesting, because the author sometimes discusses a certain case or discusses a certain thing that he noticed or whatever, and then goes and draws like a general conclusion, like you can tell that this is the case, blah, 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 by this metric or whatever. And it's really, really interesting, I think. So this is orange. Then I have this like greenish, which might show a little bit yellow on camera, but it's green. And that is just learning stuff about the United States. Because this book is very much written for a Western audience and mostly an American audience. So he sometimes talks about certain issues, and then he gives some stats about the United States, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I'm learning stuff. And then there is this pink, which is he talks a lot about like the consequences of SA, and like what it does to a person, the psychological consequences. There was one really interesting chapter, which is one of these tabs, about how it, like, things that are specific for men who have gone through such an experience, that have some different reactions than women, which I thought was very interesting. So yeah, I'm learning a lot of stuff. I'm loving the book. It is very hard to read, obviously, because it's a very heavy subject matter. But it is definitely handled with a lot of care, and he writes so well. So if this is a subject that you can handle, I would definitely recommend this book. So far, I was only on chapter 2, and it already made its way in my top 5 books of the year. That's how good it is. So yeah, those are the 3 books that I'm focusing on at the moment. I'm reading a few more because I just kept starting new things, but I probably should finish something that I've started for once in my life. So I'm gonna try and finish those 3, or at least continue those 3 this week because I won't be able to finish all 3 of them. But I'm gonna try my best. I went to the bookstore today and I bought 3 things, which I'm going to show you. I bought a few things since we've last spoke, but I'm not going to show all of them. I don't like to do like separate book hauls. So I'm not going to do that, but like, it's 3 books. I'm going to show you. First, I'm actually really proud of myself because all 3 of these were planned or semi-planned. Because I'll start with Atalanta by Jennifer Saint. This is actually for my brother. This is not for me. But he asked me to get this for him because he knew it was. I'm gonna go to the bookstore. I was planning to go. And so he asked to pick this up for him because he loves Atalanta, actually in Kingsbridge. It's his favorite character in Greek mythology, and she's really underrated. And he was so happy that she finally got a retelling of her story, and I was really happy about that too. I don't love her as much as my brother, but I love her too, and she is definitely underrated, so I was happy when this came out. And so now I have a copy, but it's for my brother, but I can probably borrow it. So this is not for me, but I did buy it. The other thing that I did, like that I went for in the first place, is Jade War, the sequel to Jade City, because I'm gonna be reading this in October. And just look how floppy it is. Look how floppy. I'm so happy. I don't have a lot of floppy books, because in Belgium, if we have English books, we get the UK editions, which tend to be like the binding tend to be relatively tight in comparison to the American ones. And like if I have Dutch books, they're also not very floppy. So I'm really happy about this. This is gonna be great. I already know. I'm excited about this. And then early in the summer, I was in a bookstore with a friend and I saw this book and I kind of was low-key interested, but I was like, I'm not gonna do it. Maybe later. And then I was like, you know what? If it's there, I may take it with me. I may not take it with me. Who knows? And that is No Seasons But the Summer by Matilda Leyser. This is a Greek myth retelling. It's about Persephone, but after her marriage, yeah, it's yeah, it's really nice. I read like the first page at the bookstore, and the writing style is so beautiful and so poetic, and I'm so excited about this. I haven't heard anyone talk about this. I literally just bumped into it at the bookstore. But it's exciting. I also love that the tree's on fire. Like, I mean, trees on fire is not fun in real life, but I like the detail in the cover. I don't know. I hope it will be relevant to the story, otherwise it will be random, but like, I think it will. So yeah, I don't know. I'm really happy. Is it nice under the dust jacket? It has fire under the dust jacket as well, so it probably will be relevant. Ooh, and leaves on the back. And a nice border. I like borders. I don't know why. Like also just covers that have a border around them. I really like the look of it. So yeah. Anyway, I'm rambling for way too long again because I'm wordy. So I'm gonna go back to reading. I think I'm gonna read some more of The Ways of the Earth right now. And then I will talk to you when I have a new update. Bye. Hi. It's the next day. I finished Jade City. I really love this. But as I already said yesterday, it's mostly vibes. I'm gonna try and give eloquent thoughts, but I can't promise anything. But I realized that yesterday I didn't talk about what this is about. So if you don't know, Jade City is an urban fantasy set on an island where there is this substance called Jade, and which grants some magical abilities. And only people from this island are naturally able to yield Jade, because we have some indigenous people from this island who are completely immune to it, and then there are other, like the rest of the world is too sensitive to it, and so they go crazy because of it. And so because they have descendants from both, they are descendants from both ethnic groups, they have the perfect amount of sensitiveness but also immunity to be able to use Jade. And the trade of Jade is controlled by a few clans. The two most important ones are No Peak and the Mountain Clan. And we follow some people from No Peak because there is a war. They're at the verge of war with the Mountain Clan. In a few POVs, we have Lan, who is the pillar of the clan, so he's like the big boss. And then underneath him are a weatherman who takes care of the economic side, and then the Horn, who takes care of the more fighting military side. And the Horn is Hilo, who is our second perspective. Elena and I have my brothers, sister Shay, who is also a perspective, but she has taken off her Jade, left the island, and she doesn't really want to be involved in the clan anymore. Then there is also Andon, who is was an orphan boy, but he's sort of semi-adopted by the family that Lan and Hilo and Shay are part of. And then there is a last baby, which is Barrow, who's just a random dude who gets into contact with Jade, and things go down from there. I didn't love Barrow's POV that much. It wasn't there a lot. There are also a few other minor POVs, but like those are the main ones. But Barrow's POV, it wasn't there a whole lot. And while I do understand why it's there, I think I would have preferred it if it would have been left out. Like there's only one plot point that, how can I say this without spoiling it? In Barrow's POV, that plot point was, I don't even know if foreshadowed is the right word, because like I think foreshadowing is not strong enough a word for what it was. It was like you knew what would happen, basically from Barrow's POV, and sort of this dread for what was to come was being built up because of that, and it wouldn't have been there without Barrow's POV. So I guess that I like that one aspect about it, but most of the time I didn't love it. I wasn't feeling it. I would have preferred it if it wasn't there. The other characters I really liked. Just three siblings, I love them. I love Lan, he's a great pillar. He just love him. He's great. And he's a good leader, and he has what it takes, and he's balanced enough, especially in comparison with his brother Hilo, who is a good warden because he's good at fighting stuff, but he's a bit too impulsive at times, and he wanted to do everything the military way, and he wanted to fight his way through everything. And he doesn't really understand that sometimes you have to be a bit more subtle and go the economic route with your attacks, which is why the weatherman is there. So I really love that. I love how loyal Hilo is to his clan and to the people he fights with. And how if one of them dies, like he is not just like, oh damn, we lost another soldier, so you're weakened again. No, he really cares about them, and he really grieves their deaths. So I do like that, but sometimes he does things like, could you not? So yeah, I liked him. And then there's Shay. I didn't love her at first. She was like, she wasn't giving me much, but then later on she got more involved in the plot, and I liked it more. So I really liked it. Andon's a good kid. I don't know how to talk about Andon. He is also just very loyal to the family that has taken him in. And he's a good kid. He's good. He's in school. And he's just very good at everything. No, not everything, but just he's very Jade sensitive, which makes him very strong in combat. Which is what we mostly see. Like, we get mentions of things like math and history are not his thing, but they're not really talked about that much. They're mentioned in passing. So that's why he seems to be good at everything, but it's not everything. But he's also quite impulsive at times, and I don't know, he's just like him. He's like, he wants to be involved in the clan, and he wants to graduate so that he can be a fighter in the clan. So yeah, I liked him. I think it's accurate. Like, I believe he's 17. I think it's mentioned, which is like, he felt like it, like a 17-year-old to me. Which is funny because I'm 18. I don't have that much distance from it, but it felt accurate. Take it with a grain of salt. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I really like the plot as well. There is a lot of just also economic politicking, aside from the military stuff, which I really enjoyed. Lately I've been reading a couple of books that have that, and I find that I really, really enjoy it. It's really fun. So that aspect I really enjoyed. Yeah, I liked it. I read it really quickly. It was quite page turnery, but still very character driven. So yeah, I can't wait for book 2. I'm very excited. So I'll be reading that next month. So that's what I've been reading. I still have, what time is it? Half an hour before I need to leave. So I may read a little bit of this in that time. I don't know if I'll be able to finish or to read an entire chapter. How many pages is it? It's about 30 pages, so I don't think I will be able to finish the chapter, but that's okay. I will read a little bit, and then I have to go. So I'll talk to you again when I have another update. Bye. Hi, it's Monday. I have a new update. So first of all, my nonfiction book, Power of Women. I've read a pretty decent chunk of it. I'm now at page 223, sorry. And I've been tabbing the hell out of this. I can't really say I'm enjoying it because it is very hard to read because of the subject matter, but it is really good. And just the author handles it with so much care. What I really like about this book is it always starts off with a person that he's discussing, or that be just himself or one of his patients or whatever, and then he sort of draws a general conclusion from that. And just I think that's what No Escape by, oh, I forgot the author's name. I read it earlier this year. What that tried to do, but I think this book does it better. So yeah, I really like that. Also just the parallels that it draws with other instances is very good, and there's a lot of stats and a lot of research comparing the situation there with other situations in different places, both in the past and the present. Yeah, it is hard to read. Like, obviously a lot of mention of sexual assault, as that is what the book is about, but also just of genocide, because he discusses in the beginning that the conflict sort of originates in the genocide in Rwanda between the Hutus and Tutsis, and then he also mentions other genocides. For example, the one in Yugoslavia has been mentioned a couple of times. So yeah, it's very hard to read. What I do like is, like, it's a conflict in Congo, it's in Africa, and so it would be very easy to just be like, oh, it's a developing country, and so it's natural there are problems, but we in the West, we don't have it. I mean, he's not the Western author, but he writes for a Western audience. And I think that Mukwege does a very good job in providing the stats, in providing the examples, that, like, no, you're not anything better, or in your country, the situation is not anything better, I should say. So I really appreciate that. That's actually what the green tabs are for. So yeah, I'm really loving this book. it's in my top 3 books of the year, probably. Um, so, yeah. One book that I have been sort of focusing on for the past few days is Servant. Oh, I should probably. Is Servant of the Empire by Raymond Feist and Janny Wurts. This is the second book in the Empire's trilogy. Alan over at the Library of Alexandria is hosting a read along. I'm technically a month behind, but so is Alan, so let's say that I'm on time. I'm not loving this, actually, which is a shame because I really, really loved book 1. But this, like, the characters feel completely different. Everything that I've loved about book 1 isn't here anymore, and I just get annoyed at everything. So let me tell you what this is about. The first book is about a young woman called Mara, and she's a noblewoman in this Japanese-inspired world, and she's about to become a priestess of, I forgot the goddess' name, some goddess. But then her father and her older brother get killed, and so she is the only heir to her noble house and her, like, the whatever. So she has to take over and save her house from disaster. And I really love it. I love the political maneuvering in book 1, but we barely have it here. This is a lot more military, a lot more directly, let's kill this person, rather than like the more subtle economical plotting that book 1 had. I got something to put on here because with my hand it wasn't the best thing. What was I saying? Yeah, just I loved the economic politicking in book 1, and Mara, our main character, was just like really intelligent and calculated. And she sort of had to find a way within the unspoken societal rules of honor to do what she wanted to do. And it was like none of that is here. As I already said, it's a lot more like directly military, eliminating a person rather than economically damaging them. There is a love interest here called Kevin. No offense to anyone whose name is Kevin, but it within this world, it's such a jarring name. Anyway, and Kevin is from Mukwege, which is another world that this empire is in war with, and so he's taken as a slave, like in war. And so now he is Mara's slave, I should say. And he's just very dreamy. And he's our love interest in here. And whenever he's around, Mara just goes like all hard eyes, and just everything he does is excused, which completely goes against the idea in the first book that she has to play within societal rules, because now suddenly those don't matter anymore in regards to Kevin. So yeah. And also just, I don't know, like other people, like they say that this is completely unheard of and unacceptable in this society, but like so many people seem completely unbothered by it. So I don't like that. It's just so many things that are annoying me, things that are inconsistent. Also, just the characters don't feel like the same characters from book one. Um, so yeah, I'm not liking it. There has been, like, lately, there has been some really weird stuff happening. And I'm just. The only reason I'm continuing is because it's a buddy read and I'm sort of having fun screaming about it in the chat. Um, but I'm not liking the book. I don't know if I'm gonna read the sequel. I've done this before, by the way. I'm not sure if I'm gonna read the sequel of this after. Um, yeah, this was sad, but I want to finish it, and I will because I'm a masochist. Servant of the Empire for you. I also started an ebook because I was on the train and I didn't have any of my physical books, so I just started it. And I started Shelter Mountain by Robyn Carr, which is the second book in the Virgin River series. I'm not that far in, only a couple pages, like 20 pages. But I am really enjoying it. I really loved book one. I read it in January. January? I think January. Could be February, but I think January. And I want to continue some series because I'm in the middle of quite a few of them. And I should probably finish some. So I'm gonna try my best not to start a new series before the end of the year. There are a few first, like there are two books that I'm in the middle of that are first books in series that I'm still gonna finish. Those are Pillars of the Earth. I have 70 pages left in that one, so I'll just update you once I've finished it. And then there's The Crease of Kings that I'm also reading. But I'm not that far into it, and I sort of put it on the back burner to finish some of my other books first because I wasn't in the middle of too many things, and I wanted to take my time with that. So I put it on hold for a minute, and so I'll talk about that once I've finished a few more of these books. So I will read those two, and then I also have Divine Rivals out from the library. There was a very long wait. It has been on hold for a very long time, so I don't know that I just want to like pass on it and go in the back of the line again. So I might just listen to that audiobook now, or maybe not, I don't know. But other than those two or three, I won't be starting any new series before the end of the year. I will focus on trying to finish some of them, or at least continue some of them. Maybe a few standalones here and there. But I mostly want to continue some series because I'm in the middle of too many. So yeah, I think that's the update. I feel it was very chaotic and rambly. Sorry for that. But I guess you're used to it by this point. So I'll update you once I have something to say. Bye. Hi. It is Thursday now. I haven't done the greatest job of vlogging, but I just finished The Power of Women by Denis Mukwege, and it is amazing. And I think everyone should read it. I mean, check content warnings because it's a very hard read, but I highly recommend. It's really good. I'm trying to think what I already told you about this in earlier updates. I am just so impressed with the writing in this. Mukwege is an amazing storyteller, and he handles these very hard topics with a lot of care and a lot of nuance. And I don't know, a lot of empathy for everyone involved, but without excusing certain behaviors. What I mean by that is he understands that there are things in society that shape certain people and make certain people what they are. And so he says, like, it doesn't excuse what they did, but it's not that they are monsters. And by labeling them as monsters is not productive, because you need to change these fundamental societal things if you want to solve the problem. So I think that was really nice. Also, just the I don't know, the structure of this book was really nice as well. I really liked it. You had different chapters to give it some structure, that it wasn't a mess, but it was also very clear that all these things tie into one another and you can't look at them in isolation. So, for example, we have chapter 8, which is recognition and remembrance. But like in chapter, I don't know, 6 or something, those ideas also have been touched upon because I don't know what the topic of chapter 6 was, I'm just giving an example, but the topic talking there also needs, like, you can't discuss it without also touching on it. So and I just like the way that was done, because if your topic of a book is that complex and so intertwined, it is very easy to have a very messy and to make the structure really complicated and hard to follow. But I really, that wasn't the case here. I could always easily follow. Like in terms of the writing and structure, it was easy to get through. Like the subject matter made it harder, obviously, but the actual writing of the book itself, the craft that went into this, was very readable. So yeah, I really liked it. A lot of stories in here of people have really touched me. Near the beginning of the book, there is a woman discussed named Bernadette, and I was reading about her, and I thought, oh my god, if I have a daughter one day, I'm gonna call her Bernadette. And now that I've reached the end, I'm gonna need a whole army of daughters. Really powerful stories. And then just to imagine, which you'll see in the author's note, there are so many other stories that it could have told, but it was like, yeah, you obviously have to choose. You can't tell everyone, but that the choice was very difficult because there were so many stories that are worth being told and worth being in this book, so that selecting them would be very hard, which I can see. But yeah, I really like this book. I highly recommend it. I don't know what else to say. It's really good. Easy 5 stars. What I think I'm gonna do now is write my Goodreads review for Jade City, because I still need to do that. And then read some more of Servant of the Empire. But you'll hear more of that in next week's vlog, because this is the end of the vlog. I hope you enjoyed. I think just with what my schedule is right now, I'm debating whether I will do what I did before, and put my vlogs up on Wednesdays usually, and let them run from Thursday to Wednesday, or if I would make them from Friday to Thursday. Maybe that'll depend on just how busy I am on Wednesday, like from week to week. But I think I'm gonna just upload my vlogs always on Thursday, regardless of when I like end them. I just upload them a day later. It's fine. So yeah, that has been it. I don't know what else to say. So I hope to see you again in a later video. Bye.